Hi guys, it's Dara here. Thank you for joining us for the Launch 27 Multi-Location webinar. Um, we are going to get started. It's about 2 o'clock. We're going to get started. I'm going to give it 2 minutes for people to arrive, and then we will get started. I expect that the webinar will probably take about 30 minutes, so just expect that time frame for us, and we'll go through everything. And if you have any questions, we will answer them at the end, but if you can't see my screen or something like that, just type that into the chat box and I will address that immediately. Speaking of seeing my screen, if you can see my screen, can you press 1, please? All right, I'm seeing a lot of 1, so that's a good sign, and I'm sure you can hear me because you said you could see my screen, so I'm going to wait for a few minutes and then we'll get started. Hi, Chris, I see you're there. All right, great. So I'm going to give it a few minutes. All right, so people are coming in. I'm going to get started. Of course, there will be a recording of this webinar at the end, so if you come in late or if you miss the webinar, we will be sending this out shortly after it ends. All right, so I'm going to get started. Again, the title of this webinar is How Multi-Location can increase your time efficiency and bottom line. And what I'm going to do throughout the webinar is I'm going to talk about how it's increased my efficiency, and also we'll talk about how we set it up. Anthony will go through basic setup, and then again, if you have any questions at the end, we will answer them. All right, let's get started. So first, you need to ask yourself, does multi-location make sense for your business? So a few questions that I asked myself, and if you don't know, I've been doing the local case study. My business is Automaid. I started it about 6 months ago after Rohan and I decided that we were going to start a business as a case study. So my business has been going strong, and I recently decided to employ multi-location. So the questions I asked myself and the questions you should ask yourself if you're out there deciding whether or not multi-location is good for you is things like this. 1, do you service multiple locations that require different pricing? So, for example, maybe price you have a large service area. In some service areas, the cost of living is higher than others. You may want to offer different pricing for those locations, or you may want to offer different services, and those services cost different prices. So that's one of the suggestions, or one of the reasons why a lot of people use multi-location. Are you receiving bookings that are not in your service area? Some people don't want to spend the operational time. If if say they're in Washington D.C. and someone in Washington State books, they don't want to spend that time having their admin call and follow up and let them know that the appointment, they can't service them. So are you receiving bookings that are not in your service area, and do you want to reduce that and reduce your operational time with that? Do you want to grow your revenue by servicing multiple locations? So maybe you're in multiple cities and or you want to be in multiple cities and you want to keep your brand in different cities under one umbrella. Using multi-location enables that, enables you to have a site that spans, maybe you want to be in Philadelphia and you want to be in New York City, and you want to be able to do that all under one website. With multi-location, it is possible. So why use multi-location? So we gave you some examples and some questions to ask yourself, but what multi-location is it gives you the ability to offer dynamic scheduling and pricing based on zip codes. And again, it's great for people with large service areas who want to schedule specific contractors with specific abilities to specific locations. And like we said, maybe you have contractors that only work within a 20-mile radius of their home, and they also have a carpet cleaner. But your other contractors in your service area don't have carpet cleaning or have a carpet cleaner, so you don't offer carpet cleaning in any other area. With dynamic scheduling and pricing based on a zip code, you can only offer that specific service in that 20-mile radius. So you don't have to worry about someone booking it where you can't offer it. And again, if you have multiple locations in different cities, but you want to keep all of those businesses under one branded umbrella, multi-location is perfect for you. So we're going to look at some use cases. And again, I kind of, spoke about these use cases before, but here are some more specific examples of how multi-location works. So assigning cleaners to specific locations. So I have, my service area is probably about 2 hours long, wide, and I have cleaners that only work in the north, and then I have cleaners that live in South Carolina and work in South Charlotte, even in South Carolina. And scheduling a cleaner that works in the north to a job in South Carolina just isn't efficient. So using multi-location, it will allow my clients to book based on the availability of the cleaners in that area. Again, some of my cleaners only have a carpet cleaner, and again, in the north. I do a lot of carpet cleaning up there. I don't do it in the south because not all of my teams have a carpet cleaner. But there's other examples. For example, in the south, near the water, near the lakes and things like that, they tend not to have basements. So I'm not going to offer basement cleaning in these areas, in these zip codes, just because usually when you give people pertinent options, it makes it easier for them to make a decision. If you give them all the options in the world and some of those options aren't relevant to their booking, they get overwhelmed and they tend not to book, or they tend to not spend as much money. So I want to give them a customized set of options that actually pertain to their area. And then that goes to upselling different extras to different neighborhoods. Again, selling basements to people who have basements, or extra cleaning of your mudroom to people who live right off the lake. Things like that are something that can really bring value and clarity to your booking form. Something I haven't tried yet, but I'm really interested in trying, is the ability to raise prices depending on the zip code, home value, and income. So there's some areas that aren't as affluent as other areas, and to be able to dynamically price my services based on income and home value, I think is it's a unique opportunity. For example, I had a guy call the other day and I told him my hourly rate and he didn't even flinch. So to be able to offer even higher hourly rate, and he had a 6,000 square foot house, and he just paid it without asking for discounts and things like that. So having the ability to offer a higher hourly rate or a higher rate for my services in areas where I know cost isn't a factor and where quality is more concerned, I see that as a bonus for using multi-location. And then also changing home size based on location. So this is another one that I want to try out. But for example, in downtown Charlotte where I operate, you rarely find homes that are large. And I'm talking about in the middle of the city. There's a lot of condos, rarely anything bigger than 3 bedrooms. So again, in an effort to, only offer pertinent options to those locations, making it easier for them to book, making it more relevant to them, just, offering the home size that fits that location. So those are some multi-location use cases that really work well with this Launch 27 feature. So again, an example, and this is my site. It's actually, we're testing it right now. But what a client would do would be that they would come in, they'd enter their zip code, and then they would choose their service, and the services shown would be based on the zip code and what's offered in that zip code. So this is just kind of how I set it up. And it doesn't have all my options on the right, but again, if they typed in, a specific zip code and it was a zip code in which I offered carpet cleaning, they would see that option instead of some of the other options that I may offer. So Anthony's going to go through upsetting multi-location, and this includes enabling multi-location, which is currently on the Plus plan, creating your location, creating your availability, adding your services, selecting frequencies, and adding your teams to each location. So, like I said, Anthony's going to go through that. If you have any questions, or you're watching this on the webinar, or I'm sorry, you're watching this after the webinar, please feel free to email support@launch27 and we can answer those questions immediately. Or if you're watching this and you can also reach us through your Launch27 account through Intercom. All right, so I'm going to turn over the screen to Anthony, and he is going to take us through a setup and also just what the customer sees and how they interact with the multi-location feature.
And then you have to set what's called a default location, all right? So a default location is basically where you want the bookings to end up if they're outside of your service area. Now, we can put up a disclaimer if they are outside of our service area saying a special message, and I'll get to that in a second, but you want a default location because you want something to revert back to where everything is and where you're stationed at, all right? Now, customers' postal code can match. Like, we have people inside or customers inside Canada right now that have zip codes that are made up of 3 letters and also 3 numbers. So we can do something where it exactly matches the location's postal code or just matches the first character. So if I have anybody here from Canada that wants to use multi-location, we definitely have a way for you guys to be to service locations. Now, when you come down here, it says if a customer's address cannot be found, you have a couple of options. You can either prevent them from booking with a nice message that says, sorry, we do not service your area, please call, or email, right? Or you can assign the booking to your default location. So let's say that you have contractors and that's your model or whatever the case may be. You can contract out this job, make sure that no marketing dollars fall through the cracks or anything like that. You can recover it. But you have those different types of options to make sure that the customer experience is really satisfying. All right. So with that being said, I can come over here. Let me see real quick. It says assign their booking. I'm going to actually prevent them from booking. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll just say, sorry, we do not service your area. And now I hit save. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take you to the customer experience. As Dara said before, multi-location is really based on the zip code. So if I only service the 5 boroughs, right, I'm not going to service like Yonkers, right? So let's say I'm coming over here as a customer. I could just enter in the address really quick. So I'll just copy and paste this address that I have over here. And go and then I'm going to enter in the zip code. And once I enter in the zip code, see, sorry, we don't service your area, please call. All right, so now they know they can either call or you don't service the area, whatever the case may be. But if I come and I put a address that actually is valid, okay, come over here and just change the zip code, and I hit Manhattan. Now I can actually proceed with my booking, and my prices are pretty high because it's in Manhattan. All right, so those are the ways that it works. Once it comes over, right, you gets to your booking, active booking screen, you're going to see that it's tagged. All the places that multi-location touches is within services, so I can go to my services, right? If you're looking at my services here, you'll see a change in pricing based on the different locations. All right, some of them are the same, but like Manhattan's going to be a little bit more. Queens is going to be less, right? Bronx is going to be less, and so forth. So you can adjust pricing based on that. You can adjust your extras, all those different things. If someone's close to the water or something like that, you can adjust for being able to like wipe down the patio furniture in the summer or something like that. Now, this is where it is in just services. Another place that multi-location touches is booking spots. All right, so we want to make sure that our availability is structured correctly in each place. So I can come here to general settings and I can say Monday through Saturday, we're open in Queens, in Staten Island, Monday through Saturday as well, in the Bronx, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and Saturday. Brooklyn, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and so forth. All right, so I can use specific times in some places. I can use arrival windows in some places, or a combination. I can have different types of arrival windows set up. Okay, different types of availability. Right, I can have only 1 hour increments. I can have specific times, stuff like as that nature, and then I can go in here and update my availability that I don't have manually right here, which is pretty awesome because you never know how many people are working that day or working or are not going to be able to work. So you want to come on here and just minus that availability on that particular location. All right. So another place where multi-location will be found is here in your teams. So you can have certain people only assigned to certain teams, right? So it's really helpful in this way. They can share availability too in two different spots if you have someone that lives on the border. So that's pretty helpful as well. Um, and sales tax is another place. If you have multiple sales taxes in different counties or different areas that you service, you can offer different sales tax rates. Okay. Now, a really big one is going to be the scheduler. It's going to, this is how you guys are pretty much, scheduling out your jobs. And so I can, right here, you'll see Staten Island, right? I can have my people assigned to jobs very easily. If I go to the Bronx, I can see who's working in the Bronx and who's servicing these appointments. Brooklyn, same thing, right? Manhattan, same thing, and then Queens. I can see who's working in Queens. So you'll be able to see from this the scheduler exactly who's working on the left hand side, and then which team's assigned to this actual booking right here. And then you can actually see who's unassigned, recurring, who's a new customer booking, and so forth. Um, and that is pretty much everywhere that multi-location touches. What I'm going to do is just open up the floor. You guys, if you have any scenarios or anything that you guys want to kind of go through with me, I'll be more than happy to answer any and all questions. All you need to do inside your chat is just raise your hand. I'll identify it and I'll unmute you so you can ask the question. Give me 1 second. Chris, I see it. Go ahead, Chris. I unmuted you. If you can talk, Chris. I unmuted you. All right. I don't know if you don't have your headphones or a headset, or if you didn't call in, or whatever the case may be. If you want, you can just chat your question in the chat, and I can read it out loud, Chris, and answer it accordingly.
I can see his question. He's asking, can we have the address not found go to a quote page?
That's a great question. No, right now we can't, right? I think that's something that we should probably take a look at. I guess, but if they're asking for a quote in their area, but you don't service that area, I don't know if that would be beneficial. I mean, if they're in that service area, and then you can see the quote directly from the actual booking form when they put in bedrooms and bathrooms in a place that's closer to where that person resides. But if you want them to go to a quote page, I'm not entirely sure why we would do that. But I mean, if that's something that I think more people would want in our current customer base, I think that's worth taking a look at. I'm just not sure entirely how that would work. Any more questions? Any hands?
I have a question. Could you, so like I said, I'm setting up there. Of course, I'm setting up my multi-location. Could you go through a basic setup of how someone, would get it up and running in 45 minutes?
Absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go to the multi-locations tab. We're going to hit add new. Okay. We're going to name this location. I'm just going to call it Yonkers. All right. Since NY. And then I can just come over here and paste it. So as soon as I start typing it in here, it's automatically going to show I can type it. And when I can just hover over those certain locations and on the map, and it's going to ask me to add locations. So you can add it this way, or if you know it off the top of your head, you can just start, typing them in here. You can also get like a CSV file, honestly, and just copy and paste it directly into here, and that would be, I'm sorry, that would be able to take as well. Now, once you do this part, you're going to go to availability. So what are your days of operation? You've got Monday through Friday. Let's say you only do Mondays. Okay, so I'll just take off Monday here. And now hours of operation. Um, if you have an arrival window, it's going to be the last appointment that you have that's going to be within here. It's not the time that you close your doors. It's going to be the last appointment that you take. So if I put from 8 to 5, and my last appointment's 4, that's basically what it's going to be. So on average, how much time do you need between each job? We're going to say 2 hours, right? And based on the number of teams, how many jobs can you do? I only have one person that's probably going to be in Yonkers, so I'll just put one job. And then we're still going to use our famous arrival windows, and I'm just going to put 2 here, 2 hours duration. Then next, I'm going to go to services. If I want to share any of these services that I have with my other locations, I can. I'm just going to take these right here, and then I can adjust them accordingly. Okay. Really easily, maybe 2, 3 bedrooms, 4, and 6, and then hit next. And then frequencies. Maybe in this particular instance, I don't do anything but monthly and one times in that area. Okay. And then as far as team goes, let's say that Cleaner Yellow, right? They actually requested that I expand to Yonkers because they moved out that way and they don't want to stop working for me. So I'll just say yes, next, and then there's only one sales tax, so I'll just put this one. If I had multiple, like Texas has multiple sales taxes out there, I think, then I would be using that. Then boom, my um, my location has now been created. It's really easy, and I can go anywhere now. I can go to my booking spots and see Yonkers. Oops, see Yonkers here. I can go anywhere. Services, same thing. All right. So that's how you do it. It's pretty simple, pretty fast. Right now, if you guys decided you wanted to have multi-location in your package, I would help you guys set it up one-on-one. And then we could definitely uh, not only just set it up, but learn a little bit more about it one-on-one as well.
Okay, thank you. Very cool. So Anthony asked if there's any questions. Do you have any questions about setup or anything like that? I see Chris ask one more question. So he was asking about having it go to a quote form, and he says so that we can book certain zip codes automatically, and then other zip codes we do manually. So that would be the reason why he was looking for a quote form for.
Oh, okay. In that instance, Chris, something that I think would be helpful for you is having it assigned to your default location. All right. That way, you can at least give them a call and say, hey, it looks like you're like a little bit further out than what we service. Can you, I have your, because the thing is if you get the service anyway, be a quote or whatever, you would want them to book. I mean, you want that credit card on file. You want, if you don't service that area, if you're a subcontractor, you can contract that work out somewhere else. You can let them know, hey, look, it's going to be a little bit more as far as the trip fee, stuff like that. So in that case, instead of going to a quote form, I think it would be best if we just assign it to the default location. That way we can just reach out and converse or start the conversation with that customer to see if it's worthwhile. Hopefully that makes sense.
I think we had another question. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, somebody with their hand raised. Are there any other questions? You can type them in the chat box if you like. So getting started, if you are not on the Plus plan, you'll need to upgrade to it. If you are on the Plus plan, again, you can reach out to Anthony, and he can help you get it set up. I know I'm going to be sending, and he can help you get it set to Anthony. Reach out to, again, you can, if you are on the Plus plan, you'll need to upgrade to it. If you are not on the Plus plan, so getting set up, I know I'm going to be sending, and he can help you get it set up. Reach out to, again, you can, to Anthony. If you are on the Plus plan, you'll need to upgrade to it. If you are not on the Plus plan.
Boom.
So getting set up, I know I'm going to be sending, reach out to, again, you can, and he can help you get it set to Anthony. If you are on the Plus plan, you'll need to upgrade to it. If you are not on the Plus plan.
Boom.
So getting set up, I know I'm going to be sending, reach out to, again, you can, to Anthony, and he can help you get it set. You'll need to upgrade to it. If you are not on the Plus plan. So getting set up, I know I'm going to be sending.
Boom.
Reach out to, again, you can, if you are on the Plus plan, and he can help you get it set to Anthony. If you are not on the Plus plan. So getting, you'll need to upgrade to it. Up, I know I'm going to be sending.
Boom.
Reach out to, again, you can, and he can help you get it set to Anthony. If you are on the Plus plan, you are not on the Plus plan. So getting set up, I know I'm going to be sending. You'll need to upgrade to it. Reach out to, again, you can,
Boom.
and he can help you get it set to Anthony. If you are not on the Plus plan. So getting, if you are on the Plus plan, up, I know I'm going to be sending. You'll need to upgrade to it. Again, you can reach out to, and he can help you get it set to Anthony. If you are not on the Plus plan. So getting, if you are on the Plus plan, up, I know I'm going to be sending. Again, you can, you'll need to upgrade to it. Reach out to Anthony. If you are not on the Plus plan. So getting, and he can help you get it set. If you are on the Plus plan, up, I know I'm going to be sending.
Boom.
Again, you can, you'll need to upgrade to it. To Anthony. If you are not on the Plus plan, and he can help you get it set. So getting set up, I know I'm going to be sending. If you are on the Plus plan.
Boom.
You'll need to upgrade to it. Again, you can, to Anthony. If you are not on the Plus